Welcome everybody to the Weiner Wellness Virtual Summit, and we saved the best for last today. Joining us today is Ashley Rozzi, naturopathic doctor, and she's going to be talking to us about digestive wellness. Ashley, I referred to you today as the gut girl, just like Len is the gut guy, because you tend to have like such an amazing knowledge of the digestive system and neurotransmitters. So people are in for a really special treat, and I just want to thank you for being here. And also remind people that you're now at the Weiner Wellness Center a day a week taking consultations. So I hope that you tell us a little bit about that as well. And I'm going to step back and just let you rock the screen.
Thank you, Tracy. Yeah, you know, as much as you try to get away from the gut, it just seems to always come back to the gut because so much is rooted there. You know, all illness, all disease begins in the gut. So this topic today is on digestive wellness, and honestly, this could be a year-long course. There is so much to our microbiota, our microbiome, our digestion, gut health. But I want to today talk about some things of how the center of the connection is the gut. So what do we see with allergies, weight gain, or the inability to lose weight? People that just are really struggling with weight, no matter what diet they try, they may lose 5 or 10 pounds, but then the weight comes back on, and sometimes even more. Fibromyalgia, chronic pain, autoimmune disease, asthma, reoccurring headaches, skin problems such as eczema, psoriasis, hormones, hormone imbalances, excess estrogen, immune function, detoxification, and much more. What we know is that the center of all of these that seem so different from each other is the gut. And we know that symptoms appear in one part of the body may be caused by imbalances in an entirely different system. Our gut is one big ecosystem. There is 500 different species of bacteria that amount to 3 pounds of your total weight. So if you weigh yourself, just deduct 3 pounds because that's all due to bacteria. There are more than 100 trillion microbial cells, and there are 3.3 million bacterial genes and only 20 to 25,000 human genes. So what we eat, we can actually turn on and off certain genes. These bugs control digestion, metabolism, inflammation, and your risk of cancer. One of the common things that we see in cancer patients is they have a sick gut, a dysbiotic. That is, no matter what type of cancer, we always see that that imbalance in the gut. And these bugs produce vitamins, beneficial nutrients, and molecules that sustain your body and your ecosystem through a symbiotic relationship with you. We know that the gut microbiota directly regulates our prefrontal cortex. We produce almost 100% of serotonin in our intestinal tract. And then we have the good and bad bugs, right? So when the balance of bacteria in our gut is optimal, this helps reduce inflammation, and it helps modulate our immune system and helps us maintain an ideal weight. When the bacteria in our gut is bad, we have too many bad bugs, these produce fats. It promotes allergy, asthma, eczema, inflammation through the whole body. It produces systemic inflammation. You know, I have clients when they bring me sometimes their food sensitivity charts, and I look at that and I see what they're sensitive to. I look at their gut, and we put them on a protocol to where I'm giving them foods that their body really needs. We've healed their gut, and they're like, I can't believe how much weight I'm losing, and I'm not hungry. And it's amazing when you give your body what it needs, how it will just optimize so efficiently. So why digestion? Between 30 and 40% of us undiagnosed digestive issues. So when you come into the office, I look at that. I want to know what is going on in the gut. So something that they're dealing with, like issues, well, I know that stemmed from the gut. So let's look at that. Also, 10 to 15% have irritable bowel syndrome, and other common conditions include constipation, diarrhea, GERD, inflammatory bowel diseases such as Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, liver conditions such as fatty liver and hepatitis, gallbladder problems, stomach and ulcers, pancreatitis, GI infection, diverticular disease, and hemorrhoids. And some other systemic health issues like autoimmune disease, migraines, skin problems, diabetes, and much, much more. So when we look at digestion, we know that healthy digestion is the seat of total health. It all begins in the gut. The digestive system is the seat of our immune system. 70% of our immune system is located in our gut, and that runs our metabolism. It makes vitamins like vitamin K, which is really important for our bones, the health of our bones, and it communicates with every other cell in our bodies. So digestion, also known as the gut, and the purpose is to bring nutrients to each cell in our body. When this system is compromised, we feel sluggish, we can't think clearly, brain fog, and begin to develop symptoms of illness. And if left unattended, it can develop into a full-blown disease. So many times when I talk with people, these symptoms started way back, sometimes in early childhood, sometimes in their teenage years. So if you learn to notice these symptoms when they're starting and treat them when it happens, you can prevent a lifelong illness. So let's go down here to the next one. So the amazing digestive system. If spread flat, your digestive system would cover a tennis court. And like I've told you, 70% of the immune system is located in the digestive system. And you have as many bacteria in your body as cells and billions of fungi bacteria. These microbes live in communities that live in symbiosis with you. The health of these communities determines your overall health. So having a really good, diverse bacteria will promote you as a healthier. You will be healthier, you will feel healthier. What they see in Alzheimer patients is they have more pathogenic bacteria. They have a compromised gut. And more studies and research are coming out about the bacteria in our gut and with brain disorders. You eat food to nourish all your cells. If you make poor food choices, your body cannot digest, absorb, or utilize the food due to poor digestive health. And you have a high chance of developing signs, symptoms, and finally a diagnosable illness. So many times people are eating healthy and they're still not feeling well and they don't understand why. So the best diet in the world will not help you if you're not digesting properly. The food must be able to digest, break down into tiny particles, absorb the food, mash, and take it through the intestinal lining and into the bloodstream, assimilate the nutrients and calories into the cells where they can be used, and eliminate waste products through the kidneys, the bowels, the lymph system, and skin. That's when you absorb all your nutrients. Some people are fermenting their food instead of digesting it. So they're not absorbing no matter how healthy they're eating. So if you cannot digest and absorb your food, your cells will not get the nourishment that they need to function properly. Many health issues begin because people are not fully digesting and absorbing their food. One of the first things I check in my office is how well do you absorb and assimilate and eliminate. I like to see what is going on. Are you even absorbing everything you're taking and eating? So why don't people absorb? Why do they have poor digestion? Well, it starts in the mouth. Digestion begins in our mouth. Poor chewing and rushed eating is compromising to the digestive system. And in the world we live today, we're always in a hurry, we're rushing, so we tend to shovel in our food quicker than we should. Hydrochloric acid insufficiency, bile salt insufficiency, enzyme insufficiencies, lack of enzymes, lack of dietary fiber. We know fiber is food for our bacteria. We need fiber, and so many people lack fiber in their diet. Most people are dehydrated. Most people I meet are dehydrated. They do not get enough water, and water is so crucial to health. And bowel motility, just not moving their bowels, sluggish bowels. One of the big things I want to talk about is hydrochloric acid. So many people will pop Tums or any over-the-counter because they have burning in their stomach and they think it's too much acid. But most people don't produce enough acid. And as we age, we produce less and less hydrochloric acid. So hydrochloric acid is found in the stomach, and this is used to begin the process of protein digestion. Hydrochloric acid is produced by the parietal cells in our stomach, and these cells of the stomach use this to pump to secrete gastric perfect juice. And these cells are filled with mitochondria, our cellular energy factories. Mitochondria, that is the powerhouse of our cell. And hydrochloric acid utilizes the enzyme pepsinogen to synthesize pepsin. And this is to digest protein. Stomach acid provides the first line of defense against food poisoning. And without adequate stomach acid, we leave ourselves open to decreased immune resistance. So many times people are on the proton pump inhibitors, right? The PPIs. And I wanted to put this out here, this information, because now they're even giving it to infants. In 2017, the FDA began to require new warning labels for PPIs due to the increased risk of osteoporosis and fracture with long-term use. Babies are being prescribed PPIs more and more frequently, and infants who take these in the first 6 months of life have an increased risk of breaking a bone, and the longer they take them, the greater the risk. PPIs have also been associated with increased risk of death, pancreatic cancer, C. diff, kidney disease, inability to produce stomach acid, stomach infection, cardiovascular events, and more. And it also leads to mineral insufficiencies. We need adequate amount of hydrochloric acid to absorb nutrients, to absorb minerals, to make vitamins such as vitamin K. Chronic use of antacid and acid blocking drugs. This contributes to long-term problems. It increases the risk of SIBO, that's small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And if you've ever had SIBO or worked with anybody that has SIBO, it is very difficult to really get to the bottom of it, because there's a lot of symptoms that go along with SIBO. Decreased mineral, folic acid, and B12 absorption, higher risk of foodborne infections, and cause dependence. When somebody stops using them, they feel even worse than when they began. So they feel like they need them now. Type 1 diabetes, osteoporosis, childhood asthma, chronic fatigue, depression, and other illnesses have a typically low levels of hydrochloric acids in their stomach. So when you support with hydrochloric acid plus pepsin, digestive enzymes, nutrients, stress management, and other supportive treatment, their health issues improve or resolve. You know, even drinking apple cider vinegar and water will help that production of hydrochloric acid in the gut, just doing a tablespoon each morning with water. So let's talk about enzymes. So enzymes is a protein that triggers a change without being changed itself. It's a reaction to speed up, slow down, or change a small number of chemical reactions. Enzymes can only make small reactions, so we need many of them. And as we age, after the age of 27, we begin to produce less and less digestive enzymes. Some enzymes have a non-protein part, a metal molecule, a vitamin, or another molecule attached to them. And these are called coenzymes. And that's what you see with your B complex vitamins. They're coenzymes. So metabolic enzymes, we have 75,000 known metabolic and digestive enzymes in our bodies. Enzymes bind to a specific substance to perform a task that are needed for every chemical reaction that occurs in the human body. So we need enzymes for life. We cannot make energy, think, or control blood sugar levels. We need enzymes for our metabolism, and we cannot utilize a vitamin, mineral, or a fat, or make or break down cells or remove waste with enzymes. So we use them for cartilage, bone. It gives our skin elasticity. It keeps our blood from clotting, and build and break down hormones and everything else. So digestive enzymes. We use enzymes to break down the food we eat. Most of our digestive enzymes are made in our pancreas, but enzymes are produced throughout the whole digestive system, beginning in our saliva. And we have separate enzymes for digesting fats, proteins, carbohydrates, pectins, and phytic acid. So digestive enzyme insufficiencies. So people with enzyme deficiencies, it makes them unable to adequately digest specific foods or food groups. And some of the most common are lactose intolerance, fructose intolerance, and the lack of gluten splitting enzymes. Those are the most common. So when we go into talk about lactose intolerance, about 25% of Americans and 75% of the world's population are lactose intolerant. And the most prevalent of these are people of Asian, African, or Mediterranean descent. And many people that are lactose intolerant is due to increased intestinal permeability and dysbiosis or dysbiosis. And what people find when the gut heals, people often become more lactose intolerant. And that is, if you have ever done a protocol where you really got your feeling good, you felt healthy, you didn't have much pain, everything, you just felt so much better. And then you had eaten a food that you had out of your diet for a time being while you were healing your body. And then you felt so much worse when you ate it. And you're like, I used to eat that all the time. Yeah, you will find out once your body's healed, your body will be able to tell you what works for it and what doesn't work for it, what it's sensitive to. And so many people find that out. I had one lady who used to eat beans all the time. And when I put her on the protocol I had her on, and she had been on it almost a year, and we had left beans out of her diet. And when we added it in, she was so sick and she couldn't get over how she felt so sick by eating them when she used to eat them all the time. What happens is we get into a state of not feeling well, and we think that's how we're supposed to feel over long periods of time. But when you recover and you feel really good, you'll notice right away how certain foods interact in your body and you can feel sensitive to, or you just don't feel well when you eat them. So gluten intolerance. So gluten intolerance or celiac disease. Celiac disease affects 1 in 133 people and 3 million of Americans. And celiac disease, you will feel mostly in the gastrointestinal tract, where gluten sensitivity, you will feel it more neurologically. You will still have symptoms of both, same with celiac, but it seems gluten sensitivity people, it affects them more neurologically. About 40% of us have the correct genes to develop celiac disease, and it is estimated that up to 15% of us are gluten intolerant. So fructose intolerant, there are 2 types, inherited and acquired. If it is inherited, it's about 1 in 20,000 people who have fructose 1 phosphate aldolase deficiency. Typically found in infancy or early childhood, and you will see this in children who refuse to eat sweet foods or who will get ill from them. Now, acquired is much more common, and that affects 1 in 3 people. Fructose intolerance is much more common in women than in men, and it looks a lot like IBS symptoms: constipation, diarrhea, abdominal spasms, gas, and nausea. So enzyme deficiencies, I found this really, really interesting. So studies revealed 10% of 10-year-olds have enzyme deficiencies, 20% of 20-year-olds have enzyme deficiencies, 50% of 50-year-olds have enzyme deficiencies, and so on. And this can occur from stress, low-grade inflammation in the stomach called gastritis, and infections such as the H. pylori. And also being malnourished. Our food is so depleted of vitamins and minerals, and it's filled with genetically modified ingredients. So the more and more this happens, I think these numbers are going to keep increasing as our food becomes lack of nutrients. Supplemental enzymes, they have been used successfully to treat several types of arthritis in adults, and even working more effectively than drug treatment. It's very successful in treating children and adults with food allergies, asthma, gastroenteritis, and other illnesses. Enzymes have been used clinically in Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, hay fever, pulmonary fibrosis, sinusitis, MS, and bladder infections. Enzymes, especially nattokinase and serrapeptase, they are great to thin the blood and to break up blood clots. They work systemically. If you had sprained your ankle or had an injury, it really helps take down the inflammation. So love having those on hand. Enzymes in our food. So you can get enzymes in food, eating the right food. That's the cultured or fermented foods are good sources of enzymes. Eating fresh or locally grown foods is optimal because they have the highest of enzymes. When they have to travel a long distance, they tend to lack enzymes. The foods have the highest enzyme activity when they're eating fresh or are fermenting. Raw fish, such as sushi or sashimi, is rich in active enzymes. Drinking kombucha and kefir and eating kimchi, yogurt, sauerkraut, and other fermented foods can enhance enzyme intake. Cooked, packaged, or processed foods are enzyme depleted. They don't give you nourishment. They don't give you the energy, but the food that is processed, or the high sugary, the refined food. But eating a wide variety of cultured or fermented foods really helps promote that good gut bacteria, and you start to feel good. You start to have all this energy. It's amazing when you start taking in the enzymes, how well you can feel. So I want to talk about increased intestinal permeability, also known as leaky gut. I know many people hear of this. Leaky gut is a range, right? People can come in with severe leaky gut, minimal leaking gut. It's a range. And leaky gut underlines an enormous variety of symptoms. 1 out of 2 people have a different degree of leaky gut. So it's very, very common. It is a symptom of inflammation and imbalances that has many causes. When working properly, it forms a tight barrier that controls what gets absorbed into the bloodstream. An unhealthy gut lining may have large cracks or holes, allowing partially digested food, toxins, and bugs to penetrate the tissues beneath it. And excessive amounts of bacteria can pass into the bloodstream, lymph, spleen, and kidneys, and travel throughout the body. The body can become really inflamed, very toxic, and have a lot of brain fog, can't focus. There are so many symptoms associated with leaky gut. So the causes, these are just some of the causes of leaky gut. Chronic stress. So when we undergo stress, our gut takes the first hit, and it can't tell the difference between acute or chronic, right? If we're being chased in the woods by a wolf, or if we're late for a presentation, we will start seeing less secretory IgA, and that is our body's first line of immune defense. So instantly the gut's taken a hit. Dysbiosis, a sick gut, environmental contaminants, gastrointestinal diseases, immune overload, overuse of alcoholic beverages, poor food choices, presence of pathogenic bacteria, parasite, yeast, prolonged use of non-steroid and anti-inflammatory drugs are very hard on the gut. But there are healing foods that really can nourish the gut. Having bone broth daily, drinking it like a tea. You can make your own, or you can buy it. There's so many different brands out there that have really, really good bone broth. But it's good to always have this on hand. And if you do have trouble sleeping, drinking this before bed, the glycine will help promote more of a restful sleep. Vegetables, steamed or raw, and vegetable juices. Probiotic rich foods, soothing foods such as okra, licorice tree, slippery elm tea, marshmallow root tea. And then you really want to avoid any foods you are sensitive to. So if you're taking all this in and you're trying to heal the gut, but you're still eating foods that you're sensitive to, you're going to have more of a standstill. You're not going to promote the healing. So taking out the food you're sensitive to and treating food like it's your medicine, especially if you're dealing with any type of leaky gut or gastrointestinal issues. So supplements for leaky gut, glutamine. So our brain and muscles run on glucose, but our intestines run on glutamine. This is why I love GI Complete in the powder. There's 5,000 milligrams of glutamine. The cells of the small intestine depend on glutamine as their main fuel and for maintenance and repair. It is alkalizing to the body. So it really helps quickly repair the gut. The gut does heal pretty fast. Zinc is essential for gut repair. Lactobacillus plantarum, it's a bacteria, it's a probiotic, and it's very soothing to the small intestine. Quercetin, it helps heal leaky gut and modulate allergies by preventing histamine release. Aloe vera, digestive enzymes, is so good to help repair the gut. So now I want to talk about prebiotics. So prebiotics, if you think of the bacteria in your gut as your probiotics, Prebiotics are the food that you feed the probiotics. It's food for the microbiome. It nourishes and stimulates the growth of lactobacilli and bifidobacterial in the microbiome while reducing disease-causing bacteria. The International Scientific Association of Probiotics and Prebiotics recommends between 50 to 20 grams daily, and it benefits all organs, tissues, and cells. And this helps synthesize short-chain fatty acid that keep our colon and microbiome healthy. It helps speed up motility, and a really great short-chain fatty acid is butyrate. It's so good, and get that in things like ghee. It's very, very healing. So we're going to talk about supplemental prebiotics. So there was a paper, there's not a whole lot of research on this, but this paper published in 2018 reports that in mice, giving them supplemental prebiotics without insoluble fiber increases the risk of developing liver dysfunction and liver cancer. So you will see, if you do take any prebiotic supplements, you'll always see there's usually insoluble fibers with them, such as inulin. Inulin's from Jerusalem artichoke, beta-glucan. You can get that from oats, barley, mushrooms, and baker's yeast. Alcohol sugars such as xylitol and mannitol, pectin, gums such as acacia and guar gum, chia seeds, and flax seeds. See, prebiotics work synergistically with probiotics and can be taken together. Like probiotics, they acidify the intestinal environment and enhances the absorption of essential minerals. So you can really take them together. And it's amazing for the gut. Now, probiotics. So if you don't have a rich environment for your gut microbes, taking probiotics won't be that helpful. So you really want to start with prebiotic rich food, cultured and fermented foods. Culturing and fermenting of foods breaks down the polyphenols and plant polyphenols. It increases vitamin content, enzyme activity, and amino acid production, and helps break down those anti-nutrients in foods such as phytates, tannins, and oxalates. So the benefits of probiotic bacteria. So microbes play an important role in our ability to fight infectious disease, providing a front line in our immune defense. Actually, probiotics will help. There's like 27 pages of research that have been 27 pages of research done on this, where probiotics will actually help pull heavy metals from the body. Friendly microbes will manufacture many nutrients, including your vitamin K, your B complexes, including biotin and folic acid. And probiotic bacteria has anti-tumor and anti-cancer effects, and probiotics help normalize foreign substances like mercury, pesticides. They do protect us from damaging radiation and harmful pollutants, and recycle and metabolize hormones like estrogen and thyroid hormones. So when anybody that has any issues with their thyroid, I want to look, what is the state of the gut? When you heal the gut and the thyroid heals, you'll see the food sensitivities diminish. And it's pretty amazing when they're like, I couldn't eat that for so long. And when they get healing with the thyroid and the gut, they're able to eat those foods that some that were healthy, but they were sensitive to. So nutrition benefits of probiotics. They aid in protein digestion. It converts fat to usable forms. It increases our absorption of minerals, including calcium, copper, magnesium, manganese. It manufactures essential fatty acids and short-chain fatty acids. It minimizes or eliminates lactose intolerance, and it helps synthesize vitamins. The probiotics, the benefits in the digestive system. It balances the intestinal pH. It digests lactose, digests proteins to free amino acids. It helps normalize bowel transit time. So it gives you a normal bowel movements, daily bowel movements. It improves or prevents IBS. It can protect against traveler's diarrhea, protects gums and teeth, reduces intestinal inflammation, and improves diarrhea and constipation. The benefits that probiotics have on the immune system: it helps break down bacterial toxins, decreases the severity and duration of respiratory and other infections. They have anti-tumor and anti-cancer effects. It prevents and alleviates eczema, asthma, and allergies. It prevents food poisoning. It protects and modulates autoimmune diseases, prevents and controls thrush, vaginal yeast infections, and bladder infections. So probiotics really boost that immune system. Some foods that are amazing filled with probiotics is kefir. Kefir is great. It's a fermented milk product, and it can also be made from milk-like substances such as nuts, beans, and seeds. They have coconut kefir. There's a lady, she's called the Fermenting Fairy, and she has really cool different kefirs on there and different sauerkrauts, and she has all kinds of different things on her website that's all fermented foods. Kefir has more probiotic microbes in it than yogurt. Different brands and homemade versions vary on the number and which substance they contain, but they typically have 6 to 14 varieties of bacteria. And kefir has antimicrobial properties. It supports digestive, immune function, protects against carcinogens, enhances wound healing, helps with allergies, digests lactose, and helps normalize cholesterol levels. Another great food. I love kimchi. I know not everybody likes it. I think you either like it or you hate it. There's no in between. And not all kimchi tastes the same, which I have found out. But traditional, it's a Korean condiment, and it's made from napa and other types of cabbage and vegetables. It has ginger in it. It can be really spicy, but it's so tasty. It does help promote a healthy weight by feeding you all that good gut bacteria, right? So what they find in overweight people is that they lack the diversity of bacteria. They lack good gut bacteria. And there's been a lot of research where they've done with fecal transplant, where they will take the bacteria from somebody who's lean and implant it in somebody who is obese, and they will find they're able to lose weight and maintain a healthy weight. So a lot of what's going on in weight is what type of bacteria do you have in your gut? And kimchi helps feed that good gut bacteria. It does help with constipation. It helps normalize serum cholesterol levels, and it has anti-clotting effects. It promotes brain, immune system, and skin health, and it's an antioxidant with anti-aging properties. If you have not tried it, highly recommend trying it. I think it's delicious. So rebalancing the gut immune system. You want to eat a rainbow. Polyphenols to help heal, soothe, and protect the body. Now, polyphenols are what's in those colorful foods. So actually 95% of polyphenols and the bioactive compounds are inactive until our microbes in our gut gobble them up, and then they're able to release all their antioxidant, cell regulating, gene regulating, anti-inflammatory properties to do their work. So you really want to include those every single day in your diet. And they have prebiotic properties as well in them. And eating 10 cherries a day will help lower inflammation. You could even buy the frozen cherries and make a smoothie with them. Prebiotics and probiotics reduce inflammation and promote healing. So foods that are the highest in polyphenols are berries, strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, fruits of all types like grapes. The highest is red and purple. You have cherries, peaches, kiwis, apples, pears, plum, wine, tea. Green is the highest, then the black, rubeus, and mint. Onions, leeks, and broccoli, cabbage, beans, parsley, celery, tomatoes. You know, just adding parsley to your salads, or to put it in a soup. Those are great ways to kind of sneak more of those really healing foods in. Now, another thing that contributes to gut issues are the food sensitivities. Estimated that 10 to 20% of us have food sensitivities, and the most common antibody reactions are the IgG to mold and foods. Exposure to molds and foods is quite high compared to pollens. And you see so many people, when have issues with pollen and allergies, but actually food sensitivities are higher than that. And some of the symptoms that go along with food sensitivities are headaches, chronic headaches, migraines, difficulty sleeping, dizziness. Coughing, sore throat, hoarseness. Sometimes you have the swollen glands. gagging frequently or having mucus, not being able to clear the throat, the sores on the gum, lip, and tongue, eyes, ears, and nose. You just have ringing in the ears, always congestion, stuffy nose, blurred vision, watery and itchy eyes, ear infections, hearing loss, excessive mucus, dark circles, swollen, red, or sticky eyelids. Have you ever eaten something the next day? You're like, wow, my eyelids are so puffy. Yeah, those are some symptoms of sensitivities. Some other ones, irregular heartbeat, asthma, or difficulty breathing, chest pain, congestion. I know I said that too with the nose, but also in the lungs, and rapid heartbeat. Skin issues, eczema, psoriasis, excessive sweating, acne, hair loss, irritation around the eyes, rashes. Those are some symptoms. Some more symptoms. So many things go along with food sensitivities. Some can be nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, IBS, indigestion, bloating, passing gas, stomach pain, GERD, heartburn, muscle fatigue, joint stiffness, aches, pains in the bones and in the muscles, swelling. Fatigue, mental dullness, memory lapses, difficulty in concentrating or having a hard time getting your work done, or just like lack of motivation, hyperactivity or a restlessness, can't really focus, but restless and just unable to unwind. It can affect your mood swings, anxiety and tension, fear for unreasonable fear, nervousness, anger, irritability, aggressive behavior. This can also contribute to binge eating or drinking, food cravings, depression, confusion, poor comprehension. Sometimes when you're so sensitive, food sensitive, you became malnourished. So you'll start binging, trying to just recover and get the nourishment your body needs. But usually when you're binging, you're not binging on the best of foods. Other sensitivity symptoms is overweight, underweight, fluid retention, insomnia, frequent urination, bedwetting. Sometimes people are just so inflamed. It's not really a weight issue. It's more there's a lot of toxins stored and there's a lot of inflammation. Food sensitivity in children. Children with food and environmental sensitivities usually exhibit behavioral problems such as ADH, learning problems, recurrent ear infections. So wellness as a lifestyle, 75% of our health issues today have a basis in the way we eat and live. Medicine focuses on medication and surgery first, rather than a lifestyle change. And there is a time when we need medicine and there's a time when we need surgery, but it shouldn't always be the go-to if you have the ability to change it in your lifestyle. Physical changes happen over time and people learn to live with heartburn, bloating, and so on. So when you start feeling those symptoms, take it as an indication, like, I need to see what is going on. And ask yourself, what does your self-care look like today? What is the bulk of your food? Are you moving towards health or away from health? Staying healthy is much easier than digging yourself out of an illness. It is expensive to be sick. So if you can prevent it, that's your best line of defense. Look at signs and symptoms as urges to make changes. And this last slide, eat real food. 90% of your food ought to be whole foods. I know not every day is going to be perfect, but aiming at the bulk of your food as real food. Look at food because food is information, right? Each bite should tell your body to repair, replenish, and nourish. And if it isn't, it's telling your body the opposite. Eat enzyme-rich, probiotic-rich, prebiotic-rich foods. Eat fresh foods and locally grown when you can. Eat a rainbow every day, 7 to 12 servings daily of colorful foods. Please don't make all of that fruit because that is a lot of sugar. More should be in vegetables. Learn to cook. This gives you control over the quality of food and ingredients you consume. It's very important to cook your own food. No matter how much you try to eat healthy going out, it will never be as good as if you cooked your own. And eat good quality fats and oils such as avocado oil, avocados, ghee, sprouted, soaked nuts. Those are great ways to get them in. Okay, so that is the end of the presentation. So I will stop sharing and come over here. Okay.
Excellent information. Thank you so much, Ashley. And people can schedule with you at the Weiner Wellness Center, correct?
Yes, I'm there on Fridays. So yeah, they can schedule with me there, and yeah, I'm always there.
You're like, I'm there anytime you need me. So
Yeah.
are we all filled up for free Zyto scans tomorrow or
Yeah.
Saturday?
We are totally filled up. Yeah. And it was really successful last Saturday. We were filled up and people were still asking to get in. And so, yeah, we got a lot of people in.
Well, good. Well, connect with Ashley. She's wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today. Great presentation. And you can get all the products and things that she talked about at the Weiner Wellness Center, 30 to 50% off.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Tracy.
Absolutely. Well, we're just so glad you're part of the team. All right, guys, that concludes our lecture series for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will be back tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.